Listen closely. This moment is not casual. I am Shi Hengyi, and today I speak about 0501, a date many overlook, yet few understand. Certain days carry patterns. Certain moments open doors. 0501 stands as a point where awareness sharpens and financial alignment becomes easier to enter. This is not superstition. This is observation, discipline, and inner science working together. When timing meets clarity, results accelerate. On this date, attention holds unusual strength. Thoughts settle faster. Decisions cut deeper. The mind becomes a precise tool rather than a restless enemy. Money, contrary to popular belief, responds to this inner order, not to chaos, not to pressure, not to emotional noise. Throughout this video, you will learn why awareness creates value, how internal balance influences external income, and why resisting this understanding keeps many trapped in cycles of effort without reward. Stay until the end because the final insight connects everything. Miss it, and the message remains incomplete. This teaching reveals why certain people attract opportunities repeatedly while others remain stuck despite constant movement. The difference is not intelligence, not luck, it is alignment. Alignment with timing, alignment with inner stillness, alignment with decisive calm. Ancient disciplines never chased wealth, they refined the self. Wealth followed naturally. 0501 represents a gateway where discipline meets opportunity. Recognizing such moments trains the mind to cooperate with life rather than struggle against it. This channel exists to restore that awareness, to cut through distraction, to return power inward. You are not here by accident. Welcome to Shaolin Divine Flow, a space for clarity, strength, and purposeful living. Subscribe, stay connected, and walk this path with us. Silence reveals more than noise ever could. Focused listening is not passive. It is an active force that rearranges the inner world. When attention settles, the mind stops scattering energy. Thoughts slow, breathing deepens. Something unseen begins to shift. This shift is frequency, not a mystical idea, but a measurable change in awareness and response. Most people hear without listening. Sound enters, but attention remains divided. In that state, energy leaks. Focused listening gathers it back. Every moment of true attention strengthens the nervous system. The body relaxes. The mind aligns. Internal resistance dissolves. This is why clarity feels light and confusion feels heavy. Intentional listening sharpens perception. Patterns become visible. Small signals gain meaning. A single sentence carries weight. A pause speaks louder than words. When attention is disciplined, the inner environment becomes ordered. Order changes frequency, and frequency determines attraction. Calm attracts clarity. Clarity attracts opportunity. Money responds to this internal shift because decisions improve. Timing improves. Reactions soften instead of forcing outcomes. Awareness notices openings. Focused listening trains patience without weakness, strength without tension, presence without pressure. Ancient training begins with listening for this reason. Not listening to respond, listening to understand, listening to align. In that state, the mind stops fighting reality. Energy moves smoothly. Stress no longer blocks perception. Intuition sharpens, not as fantasy, but as refined observation. This inner frequency cannot be faked. It emerges through still attention. Even now, listening with intention changes posture, breath, and emotional tone. That change sends a signal inward. The system recalibrates. Distraction fades. Purpose rises. Focused listening is the gateway to mastery because it restores control over attention. And where attention goes, energy follows. Money reacts to inner order long before it appears in the hand. A restless mind makes rushed choices. A calm mind notices timing. Abundance follows clarity because clarity removes friction. When thoughts are aligned, actions become precise. Precision creates value. Value attracts reward. Chasing money sends a signal of lack. The body tightens. The breath shortens. Decisions lose patience. Opportunities sense this pressure and retreat. Clarity carries a different signal. It moves quietly. It waits without fear. In that space, the right moment reveals itself without force. When the inner state is balanced, priorities organize themselves, wasteful habits fade, impulsive decisions weaken, focus sharpens. Money responds to this stability because it thrives in systems that function smoothly. Disorder repels it, order invites it. Readiness matters more than desire. Many desire wealth. Few prepare the inner ground to hold it. Without clarity, gains disappear as quickly as they arrive. With clarity, even small resources multiply. Attention protects value. Calm grows it. Stillness trains awareness to see beyond urgency. Urgency blinds. Stillness sees patterns. Patterns reveal direction. Direction reduces mistakes. Reduced mistakes increase trust. Trust opens access. This is how abundance moves, step by step, quietly, reliably. Effort remains important, but effort guided by clarity carries less strain. The body stays relaxed. The mind stays sharp. Energy lasts longer. Consistency becomes natural rather than forced. Over time, this steady rhythm compounds results. People who appear lucky are often simply aligned. They respond instead of react. They listen before they move. Their inner state remains stable regardless of external noise. Money follows this stability because it prefers certainty over chaos. As awareness deepens, the urge to chase dissolves. Purpose replaces panic. Direction replaces doubt. In this state, action feels clean, decisions feel timely, and outcomes begin to match the inner order that created them. Readiness is a quiet power. It does not shout. It does not demand. It simply opens the door when the mind stops resisting. Resistance is subtle. It hides in doubt, in hesitation, in the insistence that conditions must be perfect. The mind tightens around, not yet, and in that tightening, energy stagnates. Money, opportunity, and clarity cannot flow into a container under pressure. When the mind relaxes, even slightly, a shift occurs. Thoughts stop colliding, emotional tension eases. The nervous system signals safety instead of stress. In that state, life moves freely. Opportunities arrive unnoticed at first. Gentle, small, almost invisible. Those ready recognize them immediately. Those resisting miss them entirely. The law of readiness does not rely on luck. It relies on alignment. The body, the mind, the breath, and the attention must speak the same language, calm acceptance. When readiness is achieved, actions are timely, precise, and effective. The mind no longer struggles to control outcomes. It observes, chooses, and acts with minimal interference. Waiting is not passive. Waiting is preparation, clearing old thoughts, letting go of false urgency, strengthening inner focus. This is readiness. Money and opportunity are drawn not to the frantic, but to the steady, to the ones whose inner vessel is empty enough to hold abundance, yet disciplined enough to sustain it. Even fear, once present, becomes a teacher. It signals resistance. Recognizing it without surrendering restores flow. Every small act of letting go, every pause to align thought and intention, compounds. Patterns emerge. Connections form naturally. Timing appears accurate. Doors open without forcing, without clinging, without doubt. This is why those who succeed effortlessly often speak little of effort. They speak of presence, alignment, and readiness. The moment the mind ceases to resist, abundance begins to follow, not slowly, not conditionally, but as a natural response to a system finally allowed to function. Scarcity thinking is silent. It creeps into decisions unnoticed, shaping habits without alerting the mind. Worry about money, obsessive comparison, reluctance to spend or invest. All of these seem practical, even responsible, yet they tighten the inner container and block flow. The mind becomes a magnet for limitation instead of abundance. Many fail to notice how small habits compound. Hesitation in opportunities, doubt before action, reluctance to receive. These moments accumulate, forming invisible walls. The world responds to these walls. Doors that could open remain closed. Connections that could form remain distant. The energy of potential turns into friction. Breaking this cycle begins with awareness. Observe the patterns that tighten the mind. Notice when hesitation arises, When fear whispers, "Not enough," these are signals, not truths. Acknowledge them without surrender. Name the habits that reinforce limitation. Silent observation creates the space for change. Scarcity is often reinforced by stories told internally. I must save every penny. I am not ready. Opportunities are rare. These thoughts become habits. They harden into automatic reactions. Every no to possibility reduces receptivity. Every internal denial of abundance reinforces lack. Replacing these habits requires subtle shifts. Begin small. Allow generosity without fear. Take opportunities without overthinking. Accept growth without guilt. Each step loosens the tension. Each conscious act of trust in the flow breaks the old pattern. The mind learns through repetition. Each time scarcity is noticed and released, energy returns to the natural current. Clarity strengthens. Confidence grows. Decisions become lighter, more precise, more aligned with potential. The cycle weakens and space opens for financial flow to enter effortlessly, naturally, without forcing or chasing. Gratitude is more than a feeling. It is a signal, a quiet signal that speaks to the universe, to the mind, and to the energy around you. Most people wait to feel grateful after success, after receiving, after achieving. That is backward. Gratitude before wealth prepares the inner environment to receive. It tunes the mind to recognition instead of lack. Even small acts of acknowledgement, appreciating a breath, a moment, or a simple opportunity, shift energy. They show readiness. They demonstrate trust in the unseen flow. The mind relaxes when it is grateful. Resistance softens. Patterns of worry lose power. In that openness, opportunities appear, often where none seemed possible. Gratitude rewires perception. It transforms obstacles into lessons, delay into timing, and scarcity into potential. When the mind focuses on what is already available, it stops clinging. It stops pushing. It begins to notice the gaps where growth can enter. Each moment of genuine gratitude strengthens the vessel that will carry abundance. The law is subtle. Wealth responds to inner alignment before external action. A grateful mind acts decisively because it trusts outcomes. It does not panic. It does not hesitate. It sees possibilities clearly because fear has lost its grip. The energy of appreciation flows outward, attracting opportunity, cooperation, and clarity. Even in moments of uncertainty, practicing gratitude signals readiness. It is not a reward for achievement. It is the language of receptivity. The mind that expresses thanks before receiving opens doors that force, ambition, or desire alone could never unlock. It cultivates patience without stagnation, attention without obsession, and presence without distraction. Gratitude, in this sense, becomes the first step toward abundance. It transforms perception, clears unseen blocks, and aligns the inner self with the currents of opportunity. In its quiet power lies the subtle art of preparing for wealth long before it touches the hand. Silence is not emptiness, it is a force. A powerful current that flows beneath the noise of thought, emotion, and external pressure. Most people fear silence because it exposes the mind. It exposes impatience, doubt, and unresolved tension. Yet in that very exposure lies opportunity. Stillness creates space where clarity can settle, space where insight can arrive, space where opportunity can appear without effort. When the mind quiets, energy stops leaking into distractions. Thoughts no longer pull in multiple directions. The body relaxes, breathing deepens. In this calm, intuition sharpens. Decisions feel lighter, more accurate, and more aligned with potential. Action flows naturally from presence rather than urgency. The world responds to this inner order. Situations shift. People respond. Doors open. Silence allows patterns to reveal themselves. Connections that once seemed hidden become obvious. Timing becomes precise. Choices no longer feel heavy or forced. In the absence of noise, the mind begins to sense the subtle currents that carry value and abundance. This is why ancient disciplines emphasize meditation, contemplation, and quiet observation, not as ritual alone, but as a practical tool for mastery of circumstance. Stillness trains patience without passivity. It teaches listening to the right signals while ignoring the distractions. It aligns the inner state with external opportunity. Wealth does not arrive through frantic effort. It arrives through attention, presence, and the space created by quietude. Even a few moments of intentional silence each day recalibrate energy. They slow reaction, increase discernment, and restore focus. The mind learns to operate with precision rather than haste. And in that precise operation, abundance is naturally drawn. Silence, therefore, is not absence. It is preparation, it is creation, it is a hidden activator for wealth that many overlook, yet it quietly transforms readiness into manifestation. Effort alone does not guarantee results. Many push, struggle, and chase, believing that force creates opportunity. Yet forcing money pushes it away. Tension repels what requires ease. Struggle signals resistance, and resistance blocks natural flow. Alignment matters more than the volume of action. When effort matches clarity, timing, and intention, results arrive effortlessly. Alignment begins within. The mind must be steady, free from obsession and doubt. The heart must be open, willing to receive without fear or expectation. The body must act in rhythm, not in tension. When all three move in harmony, action becomes precise, efficient, and powerful. Each step carries purpose without strain. Each decision flows naturally, and each opportunity is recognized and seized without panic. Forcing creates noise. Noise clouds judgment. It blinds the mind to patterns, to timing, and to subtle openings. Pressure generates short-term results at best, but long-term growth suffers. Wealth, influence, and opportunity respond not to noise, but to resonance. They are drawn to minds and actions that hum with clarity, steadiness, and alignment. Effort without alignment exhausts. Effort with alignment multiplies. Small actions, guided by focused intention, often achieve more than relentless motion, fueled by anxiety. In this state, success feels inevitable, not forced. The path becomes clear because resistance has dissolved. The mind observes, evaluates, and acts with discernment. Alignment is subtle but powerful. It turns ordinary action into strategy, struggle into flow, and waiting into preparation. It teaches patience without hesitation, persistence without stress, and movement without friction. When internal forces are synchronized, the outer world naturally responds. Money, opportunity, and growth no longer need to be chased. They are drawn into orbit, arriving at the right time in the right place for those willing to align rather than force. Everything begins with a single choice. One decision, quiet yet profound, can shift the entire current of life. On this date, 0501, the opportunity for that choice is stronger than usual. Not because the world changes, but because the mind is more receptive. The energy is aligned. Awareness is heightened. Timing is precise. This decision is not external. It is not about signing a contract, making a deal, or chasing money. It is internal. It is the choice to release resistance, to trust flow, to embrace readiness. It is the moment when the mind stops arguing with reality and begins cooperating with it. That one alignment opens paths that effort alone cannot create. Many wait for circumstances to feel perfect. They wait for certainty, for proof, for safety. Yet the power of this date is in acting from readiness, not from fear. The choice is subtle, invisible, yet magnetic. It signals the subconscious, the body, and the energy around you that you are prepared to receive. It transforms hesitation into clarity and anxiety into calm decisiveness. This inner decision strengthens perception. Doors previously unseen appear. Opportunities previously overlooked become visible. Relationships, ideas, and resources converge naturally. The mind recognizes timing without forcing it. Every step taken afterward carries weight because it is rooted in alignment rather than urgency. The decision also creates momentum. Once made, it reinforces every other action. Each choice becomes easier. Each opportunity becomes clearer. Fear no longer controls movement. Doubt no longer dictates timing. The inner compass stabilizes, guiding toward outcomes that once felt distant or impossible. On this day, the choice to align internally becomes a pivot point. It is subtle but transformative. One decision, fully embraced, sets the stage for abundance, clarity, and flow. It signals to the world and to yourself that you are ready, not later, not tomorrow, but now, in this moment of heightened energy. Trust is not passive, it is active surrender. Letting go of doubt does not mean ignoring reality or avoiding responsibility. It means releasing the inner tension that blocks movement and blinds the mind to opportunity. When the mind trusts the process, doors begin to open naturally, without struggle or force. Doubt is heavy. It clouds perception, slows action, and distorts timing. Fear whispers that the moment is not right, that resources are insufficient, that the world is against you. Each whisper tightens the mind and stiffens the body. Action becomes frantic, reactive, and misaligned. Trust, in contrast, relaxes the system. It creates space for clarity. It allows the flow of insight, timing, and opportunity to enter effortlessly. Trust begins with small steps. A single choice to act from alignment, rather than from panic, sets a pattern. Each subsequent decision reinforces confidence. The mind learns that resistance is unnecessary. The body learns that stillness is strength. The world responds because the energy of readiness radiates outward, attracting situations, people, and resources that resonate with the same calm and certainty. Releasing fear does not remove challenges. Challenges still appear, but they are met with precision, not anxiety. Problems become signals, not obstacles. The mind notices timing, patterns, and openings that were previously invisible. Every action becomes intentional. Every movement becomes effective. Trust is also patience. It allows outcomes to unfold in their natural rhythm. It removes the compulsion to force results and replaces it with clarity of purpose. When doubt dissolves, the subconscious aligns with opportunity. Energy flows freely. The right choices arrive without struggle. This inner surrender transforms perception and reality simultaneously. Doors that seemed locked begin to open. Paths that seemed hidden become visible. Opportunities arrive without chasing. The moment the mind releases fear, the process itself becomes the ally, guiding each step with quiet, unstoppable momentum. Receiving without chasing is the quiet art of abundance. It is the understanding that wealth, opportunity, and success flow naturally when the mind is calm, the heart is open, and the inner self is aligned. There is no need to force, to grasp, or to hurry. Calm confidence becomes your magnet. Inner certainty becomes your guide. When you trust, the universe responds. Let your focus rest on readiness, presence, and clarity. Let your actions be intentional, not desperate. Notice how doors begin to open on their own. Feel how opportunities align with your energy rather than your effort. This is the true way to attract what you desire, without struggle, without noise, without chasing. If this message resonated with you, show your support by liking this video and subscribing to Shaolin Divine Flow. Join a community dedicated to clarity, strength, and mindful abundance. Together we walk the path of presence and purpose. Remember this, the flow begins within, and the world follows. Receive fully, trust deeply, and move gently. Abundance is not a prize. It is a reflection of the calm, aligned mind that is ready to welcome it. Your moment is here. Your flow is now.